Good morning, artists. This is our instruction video for week 12, our last full week, and our last week of a choice board assignment. There's also some attachments for today, some videos I'd like you to watch. Two African American artists that are contemporary artists dealing with issues of race. If we were at school, 8th graders, I would have been asking you this spring, how as artists can you improve the community, whether it's on the local level in terms of our Holliston community or the global level in terms of making change. So some of you might have been involved in Black Lives Matter marches in the area over the weekend. There were a variety of locations where that was happening, or just aware of some of this happening in the world right now. But I think these two artists do a great job of visualizing some of the really complex issues around race and starting those conversations. So I wanted to share those videos with you. In terms of classroom, I want to remind you that part of the netiquette document is making sure you read everything on Classroom. So how as a teacher do I know that you're reading everything? I know when you mark a task as done that you've dealt with it, you've looked at it. That's your sign to me so that I can put on Power School that you've done that task, or know that you've read that post where maybe I changed something or I added something. It's really important that you go through your Google Classroom and mark things as done or mark them as turned in. Now, on the other hand, it's a lot easier for our student editors if you actually take your slide off of Google Classroom. So if you can do that, that has been put in a shared cookbook folder. And a shout out to Rachel Griffith, Aditya Gupta, and Maddie Prince for their hard work in finishing and finalizing the cookbook. For the Students Rebuild Hunger Challenge, we were able to, with 256 recipes at $6 per recipe, to raise $1,536 for World Hunger Organizations, which is going to make a big difference for people right now who may have been impacted especially hard by the pandemic in terms of access to food, or losing income to buy food and obtain what they need. So thank you so much for all of you who participated in that. It's a wonderful way that artists can improve the community by raising money for issues, by either by doing a fundraiser or selling artwork, but also just calling attention to issues that are important. And here are two really great social issues. The SDGs do tie in to social issues, and so here, world hunger and race, issues of race and gender equality. I'm sitting here because I just put up a hummingbird feeder. Can you hear that squeaking? That's a hummingbird, and maybe you heard the buzzing. I was hoping to get one at the feeder to show you. And so your choice board this week, you are, hopefully you already made your choice last week and you marked it as done, because I'm going to enter those into Power School and you get credit if you marked it as done. Focus on your craftsmanship. Make it careful, pay attention, and persist to the end. So don't leave the background blank. And we're really still stretching and exploring, so embrace mistakes. You've been experimenting beautifully with different materials and different possibilities from the choice board, and I hope that you'll be able to keep that going over the summer. I am putting together a student survey I'll post later in the week just about gathering information for my purposes about what worked for you and whatever you might need to tell me about what remote learning for art was like for you. I think it's really important to take a second to fill that out so that maybe you can help if we are still doing some remote learning in the fall. I hope not, but that would be really, really helpful. And keep your eyes peeled later in the week for the cookbook. And I hope over this summer you'll enjoy, as I plan to, making some of the really cool and beautiful recipes that your fellow classmates put together. So this is about 6 minutes, and you've got about 15 minutes of videos to watch. So if you have a chance to watch Kehinde Wiley, who was actually chosen to paint Barack Obama's portrait in the National Portrait Gallery, to watch a little bit about him talking about his work and his interests. He's incredibly, incredibly articulate from LA. And Angelica Doss is a little difficult. She's got a heavy accent. It's a little difficult to understand. You might want to put subtitles on if you're having difficulty understanding. But she's a photographer, and she's done this human eye project, and she talks about her work in this TED Talk. So take a look at those and then come to the live Zoom being prepared to tell one thing that you noticed about the artists and ask a question that you might have. And that shouldn't take too long of a discussion, like to have a little discussion. I will post your task list on Google Classroom too for the week. But basically, it's to complete your choice with the best craftsmanship and turn it in on Artsonia with an artist statement. And I will post your artist statement guides because some of you have forgotten to write good quality artist statements. And that is really important in this context because I don't have the chance to talk to you face to face, and I really want to know what you were thinking about and what your process was like. So make sure you take time to answer all the questions on the artist statement guide. And I look forward to seeing you at the live Zoom.